as Ken Waldichuk joins us. I got to think as a catcher, that can't be real easy, right? Where you just come in mid-season with a whole new staff and say, let's go get them at the big league level. Time to win. That can't be easy.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I feel like there's definitely a learning curve,
Yeah,
and
let's put that right on. There you go.
yeah, I feel like there's definitely like a little bit of a learning curve, especially dealing with different pitchers and how their stuff plays and what they like to do, what they're comfortable with. So yeah, definitely can't be too easy.
And I've talked about this. Of course, you're not listening, but I've said, at that last outing you had at the end of the season against the Angels, Shohei, that was a big deal. As much as whether anybody wants to downplay it or not, to me, it was a really big deal. You showed the stuff. You showed what you got. You knew you were pitching against Ohtani that day. Just how much have you reflected on that last game, what you did in your brief time in Oakland, and how you reflected on it, what you thought about that during the offseason?
Yeah, I think that last game I didn't really have my best stuff actually. I felt like everything wasn't playing as well as it did the start before, but I think it was a great learning experience for me to work with what I had that day. I felt like my changeup was on. I could just kind of lean on that the entire game. And maybe in previous starts, if I didn't have my best stuff, I might have tried to stick to the game plan, even though it wasn't working. Like starts I had earlier that season. So yeah, I just felt like it was a good step in my growth as a pitcher.
And wouldn't you say that's what pitching is? You're not always going to have your best stuff, but you got to go out there and win with what you got.
Exactly. Yeah, you just have to adjust. And just try to keep them off balance and just throw strikes at the end of the day.
When you think about this spring training, what's the number one thing you're working on for your game?
I think the number one thing is just commanding the zone better. Not being too predictable, being able to throw whatever I want whenever I want, and yeah, just trying to keep them off balance and hopefully allow my fastball to play better.
Is there any specific pitch you've been really working on?
Yeah, I've been working on a couple things. Just trying to throw my off speed a little harder. I know that I feel like they're already pretty different in speeds as of right now. But yeah, just try and get like maybe the slider a little harder, the curveball a little harder. And then yeah, from there just working on the command of those.
And take us through that process, that throwing things harder, but also doing it while throwing strikes. And as you said, having the command, you want the pinpoint command. Talk about that process of, yes, more velocity or maybe more spin or whatever you're trying to do, and also having better control at the same time.
Yeah, it's it's a process. Feel like in the beginning you're just trying to throw as hard as you can, and you don't really care about like what it's doing, and then you gotta try to throw as hard as you can to get to have a similar shape, and then that kind of leads into be able to throw that first strike. So, just you're throwing it, say it breaks like 15 inches, and it does that every time. You're all right. Well, I could start it here, and it's gonna be a strike every single time instead of maybe when you're just learning how to throw harder and one's maybe 5, the other's like 18, and you're like, I don't know where this is gonna end up.
Hitters love that. I don't know where it's coming about. Throwing as hard as I can. Two things that are going to affect. Well, one thing's going to affect all pitchers: the pitch timer. Well, to both, and also actually it is two things, and then the pickoff. You get 3. For lefties, though, it's a different deal. But first, I want to start with the timer. You've already done it in the minor leagues. Is this going to have any effect on you whatsoever pitching here at the big league level, having to do it? Because you got experience once you got to Oakland, you didn't have to do it anymore.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an adjustment, especially for people that have a slower tempo. And that was me going into into this season. So I kind of did go through that learning curve in the beginning of the year last year. But once you get used to it, though, I feel like it's almost not there. The only hiccup I think is if there's a guy on second and you don't like the sign, the catcher's throwing down multiple. But with the pitch calm, I think that fixes everything. So I don't think there should be too many issues.
Now, a lefty pickoff move traditionally is a weapon for you. And you like to be able to do it when you want, how you want. But now it's a different deal. How do you think that's going to play for you now at the big league level where you only got 3 shots at it or it's a balk?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty interesting. Especially they might try to draw those attempts out as well.
I would if I
Maybe,
was a
yeah,
runner.
maybe like head fake or make it look
Extra
try
big
just
lead, know where I'm
go
going
really
back.
big, yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I think the biggest thing in controlling that is just holding them on, varying your timings to the plate, being quick to the plate. And then if you have a hunch that they're gonna go, that's when you break out that move, and then hopefully it doesn't end up using one of those one of those chances.
So the cat and mouse game that I've been thinking about, because you already have enough to worry about with the hitter. You know the scouting report on the hitter. You know how you want to attack the hitter. You're worried about your process of getting the hitter out. Before, it was very natural just to look for you, throw over. Now you've got to think even more. How many times have I thrown over? Do I want to throw over again? Do you ever think about, hey, I can't have all this going on in my head. There's just way too much stuff going on for me.
Um, I think that can definitely happen in some cases. But I think for the most part, it's just once you know that you can just hold them and like look at them, and then lift your leg and go, and you know that unless like they get some ridiculous jump or you're throwing a pitch that's just impossible for the catcher to throw them out, you know that you're really in the driver's seat there and that you have the advantage, and you just gotta trust that they're gonna get thrown out at second.
Let's end on this, because the last time we had you on, we talked about St. Mary's and we talked about the trade and how excited everybody was to bring you over. And I can tell you for myself, for A's fans, we have high expectations of you because we think you can be a legit starting pitcher in baseball this year and be big for this team, help this team win a lot of games. What are your expectations going into this year?
Um, it's hard to put a set a goal that's like what's a good way to put it, like a numerical goal. But I think the biggest goal is just stay healthy. Just stay healthy and just stick to what I've been doing. I think I've made a lot of good adjustments this offseason to address deficiencies that I had in the last shorter stint. But yeah, I feel fresh and I feel ready to go right now.
Well, we talk about Oakland as the land of opportunity, and you're a perfect example. You get here and you're going to get a shot to pitch every 5 days in the big leagues. It's your dream. It's your dream coming true.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we appreciate the time. I know you had to come up, and it's been a long, windy day. It was pretty windy over at Fitch.
Yeah, very windy.
Hopefully it dies down, but thank you so much. We appreciate the time. And then the next time we'll see you is back in Oakland.
I hope. Yeah.